For some more standard Jinx units, we do have 3 copies of Chemtech Enforcer. This thing is definitely overstated in terms of attacking because it's a 2 that swings for 4. But obviously Jinx is the only legend that can actually deal with the discard. So yeah, really good. And obviously combos extremely well with Flame Chompers. There's more than just one way to discard this card. Like Enforcer is not your only way, but obviously this is still a really, really strong card in a Jinx deck. But again, one of the reasons why the deck is so power hungry. And then we have 2 copies of Traveling Merchant, more Trash Turbo, more low-cost units, more turn 1 plays, more cycling through the deck. This card is incredible. I love it for the 2-drop slot for any purple deck, really. And 2 copies of Noxus Hopeful. You guys may have seen my short recently about why this is like a perfect 2 of in red decks, because you don't want to see it early. You don't want to see it on turn 1. However, you did see this card fix my game going second on turn 1 because I was able to use stacked deck. And that gave me the Legion to make this thing a 2-drop. And if I didn't have stacked deck, I would have had no turn 1 play, and that is definitely going to spell disaster for a deck like Jinx to not have a turn 1 play. So incredible card, and 2 of I think is the perfect number pretty much. And now for our couple of high cost cards. You heard me talk about Super Mega Death Rocket and why it's like too high cost, but these cards are high cost, but they're, your win conditions and they're units, so they give you board presence. We're playing 3 copies of Draven. You score so fast in this deck, and having the super high might makes it impossible for some decks to deal with this. Again, they have to have removal that doesn't care about might, which is not super common right now. Like Kaisa, once this thing gets up to 7-8 might, they have a really hard time dealing with it, so it's extremely strong for that reason. And then we have 2 copies of Rossa the Sunderer. I was on 3 of this for a while, but there is some conflict there between this card and Vi, because this card wants you to have a big trash, Vi wants you to recycle your trash. There are tons of situations where you can just play this for 0 first and then play Vi and then recycle your trash. So, like, it can combo really well in that regard. Play this first, use Vi's effect after. But ever since I cut Get Excited, I felt more justified in putting this down to 2 copies. Because, again, it's not something you want to see early, because you're not going to have a super big trash by turn 2, turn 3. Draven technically is a turn 2 play going second, and he's more spammable than Rossa, and his might is more problematic than Rossa's. But Rossa, whenever you can play this thing for 0 energy, it's just absolutely insane. So you saw exactly how this is supposed to work in the gameplay video. I do really like these ratios. Draven is the best card in red when it comes to a top end.